Mateus Rojas down in Chile confronts Rockefeller, brings up real issues. I knew when I saw it 2 days ago and we posted it on Infowars.com when it had about 200 views, it was going to go big. And now, CNN, media outlets all over the world are carrying it. It's big news in South America. And people are asking, why was this young man saying he's a killer? And they're talking and debating the eugenics. See, if we lay down, we know they win. But if we stand up, we're going to win. We have the truth. They're telling us communist China is good and that they're the good guys when this group that runs it is killed more people than Hitler ever thought about. See, they're trying to just get us to accept tyranny and death and desensitize us. And I just salute Mr. Rojas with what he's done and talking about how they want to destroy the family and sterilize us. That is so wonderful to see a 17-year-old man having this effect. Just like when I saw Luke Radowski going to the CFR and confronting people, he was getting almost no attention, and we had him on the show to give him a platform. And that's why this show is so valuable, is that so many times we're able to put people on air and turbocharge the incredible work they're doing so they can then be an example to others. And now look at how Luke has been an example to countless others. And I go to that young man, 17 years old's website, and he's got our films uploaded in Spanish. He's working hard. He's reaching hundreds of thousands of people a week, if you look at the hit counters. Before he did this, one guy using the enemy system of YouTube reaching hundreds of thousands a week. Now he's reaching millions this week. You got to have that fight in you. And you got to recognize who the enemy is. China's corrupt and murderous. The Chinese people are not bad. They're fighting back. Our government supporting China is propping that up. The people of Mexico are great, hard-working, smart people. Their government tries to scapegoat them against the U.S. in nationalism so that they don't take their own government back. And our corrupt government, the big banks, keeps the corrupt government in place. And every time they try to have a real election, the election experts from the U.S. go down there and help people cheat. That's on record with Calderon right now. It's the people against the globalists. So the globalists try to divide us into the camps of communist or conservative, when we were given a fake conservative police state and a fake communist liberal system. And by fake, they're not real. They're false choices, all financed by that piece of trash, David Rockefeller. We want the globalists to stop what they're doing. We want the out-of-control corruption to end. Now, joining us with incredible information is Lindsey Williams, and we will do 20 minutes of Overdrive in the next hour because I need to have him at least for an hour and 10 minutes or so. I was going to even do 2 hours, but I have meetings I have to go to, so I apologize to Lindsey for that, but I'm sure he doesn't want to do 2 hours to begin with. We're going to go to him in just a moment, but there's major breaking news. Remember, a month ago, we had Attorney Phil Berg and Tarpley and Madsen and everybody else on, liberal, conservative, doesn't matter, investigators. And it's clear Obama is an Indonesian citizen. That's not debated. His real name's Barry Soetoro. He gave up his U.S. citizenship. He's ineligible to be U.S. president under federal law at that time. And it's retroactive. He's probably born in Kenya. The evidence is about 90% that direction. We know he worked for the CIA, and so did his mommy and all the rest of them, and his daddy, and Ford Foundation, along with Geithner's dad. They came up together. Now, the Democratic governor, Neil Abercrombie, and we're going to Lindsey Williams, but I want to get Lindsey's take on this first. Neil Abercrombie, he came out a month ago when he was about to get sworn in. You know, in December, he said, when I get in January, which he's now done, I'm going to go get the birth certificate. And I'm going to put it out. But he said, I need permission from Obama, so please let me. And the White House was mum, and even Chris Slimeball Matthews on the same channel as Mr. Maddow said that, why don't you just release the original birth certificate? They went from denying that his real birth certificate hadn't been given out and saying that receipt, that computer-printed receipt was it. No, that wasn't the blueprint copy. That wasn't the signed one by the doctor with the baby feet on it. And now the governor is saying it's not there. I don't know what to do. Now, this is on WorldNet Daily. We're got it linked up on Infowars.com and PrisonBlogger.com. Hawaiian governor can't find Obama's birth certificate, suggests controversy could hurt president's re-election chances. Maybe there's a reason Obama bows to the British royalty, to the communist Chinese, to the Saudi royalty, to anybody and everybody. He bows and they don't even tip their head. He bows and then they don't even, you know, because sometimes I shake hands and tend to, you know, like friendly hi. You know, it's like a huh. But no, he's a and then he lies and says he's picking something up. This guy's blackmailed, period. And we know he is. Hawaiian Governor Neil Abercrombie suggested in an interview published today that a long-form hospital-generated birth certificate for Barack Obama. And Marley, let's link through to that actual Hawaiian article and post a blurb on that and then link to it. It's the first link in the WorldNet Daily. Let's get that on InfoWars as well. Hawaii governor can't find Obama's birth certificate, suggests controversy could hurt president's re-election chances. Governor Neil Abercrombie suggested in an interview published today that a long-form hospital-generated birth certificate for Barack Obama may not exist within the vital records maintained by the Hawaiian Department of Health. I mean, I remember like a decade ago, my grandmother, for some reason, had to get her birth certificate from the 1920s and got it. I mean, they've got all those. Oh, sorry, not on a guy born in 63. Sorry. Abercrombie's spokeswoman in Honolulu ignored again today another series of repeated requests made by WorldNet Daily for an interview with the governor. We're going to get Dr. Jerome Corsi, who's been to Africa to cover this in Kenya and got arrested, not allowed to go talk to Obama's grandma, who says, oh, he was born here. They got statues in Kenya saying he was born there. His wife in speeches in 97 and 98 said, my husband from Kenya went back to his homeland of Kenya where he was born. Toward the end of the interview, the newspaper asked Abercrombie, you stirred up quite a controversy with your comments regarding birthers and your plan to release more information regarding President Obama's birth certificate. How's that going? And in response, Abercrombie acknowledged the birth certificate issue will have political implications for the next presidential elections that we simply cannot have. And he went on to say that they are unable to find it. Sorry to interrupt part of the interview with that, Lindsey Williams, but this is a pretty big piece of news here that the governor's now saying, he said, I'm going to release it, and now he's saying we can't find it. What does that sound like to you? Do we have Lindsey? Lindsey, are you there?
Right here, Alex. Thank you.
Lindsey, sorry to get you on a little bit late. What's your take on the Governor Abercrombie who promised to release Obama's birth certificate, now saying they can't find it?
Every bill that Mr. Obama has signed since he went into office will be null and void if it can be proven that he was not a born citizen of the United States of America. I think this is big news, and Alex, I'm so glad that you're bringing it out.
Well, talking to your elitist friends, Ken Fromm, who now passed in December, and then the other Mr. X, who I know who he is, but we're not going to say his name, he's living. What is their view of Obama? Because everything they've told you over the years, you know, about oil prices are going to go up this much, then they're going to go down, now they're going to go up. It's been very accurate and tied into similar info I've gotten from Bilderberg moles. But there was, in the 2008 election, your sources, didn't they tell you, though, that they thought Obama was going to lose? Or were they, I mean, what's the story on that?
The one expression that Mr. Fromm gave me one day when we were talking was, he said that our man from Arizona here, he said, he is our man. That's what they wanted, but they have been able to very well control Mr. Obama, but they're in real trouble now, because if this birth certificate issue comes up, everything this man has done is null and void. The health care bill, since he signed it, it has no power whatsoever if he's an illegal president.
Well, that's going to cause a constitutional crisis. We're going to go to break and come back and get into the new information you've been given, how the information you were given 3 months ago, and it was September we had you on. You said it's going to go up to 150, and then we had you on again in December. You said 150 to 200 from your source. You've got new information on the food going up, on the rest of it, and we're going to get to all that. But what is your view of them putting up Chinese flags on Pennsylvania Avenue? That's not done for the British or anybody else. And the media talking about how America's done and China is the new global power. And then the Chinese president talking bad about the U.S. and saying the dollar is a thing of the past. I mean, what's going on here from your inside sources?
We have been betrayed. Now, Mr. Fromm said before he passed away, he made the statement to me one day. You heard me give it on your program back about a year and a half ago. He said, China is the big one. Watch China and Russia. He said, never mind what's happening over the Middle East. He said, don't pay any attention to North and South Korea. He said, the important thing is China and Russia. Watch them.
I remember,
we literally are being sold out by Washington, D.C. right now. And Mr. Fromm warned me about this back a year and a half ago, that this was part of their plan. And I told it right here on your program.
No, that's right. You put videos.
I must inform your listening audience of what I am hearing in the last few days. And you know, on Sunday when I was with you, I tried my best to give some of the things that I've been hearing just lately. I had, I think, 5 communiques from my other elitist friend last week. Oh, my gracious, the things that are out there are exciting.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to then shut my mouth when we come back, and you just give us the bombshell points up front, and then we'll come back in the next segment after that and get into each one in detail. We'll then backtrack to the previous predictions that are coming true. But then you talked about them maybe taking a back step. I want to quantify that. And then later, before you leave us, I want to get back into where they see China going. Obviously, the muscle to deindustrialize the U.S., the muscle to own our debt. We've been put into this subservient position, just like China was occupied by foreign colonial powers. We're being occupied by the modern colonial bankers who have worked this mischief upon us. But it's all based in fraud. We can stand up any day and say no, but our government's compromised. That's why China's a danger, because they work for the globalists as well.